Thank you so much for coming. Welcome to Angular Mountain View, our monthly meetup. We have these meetups on the Google campus about once a month. I've just joined as an organizer starting last month. So really want to put together a lot of good content for you guys. But tonight we have a special event. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. There's actually a live stream going on. So if you say anything inappropriate, it'll be on the camera, so please don't. Just a little bit about the mechanics. We're going to do a little bit of a special event here with the team that we've got. And then after, there's going to be food and drinks outside. So that should be pretty good. We won't take too much of your time in here. The only announcement I have for the Angular Mountain View meetup is that we have another event next month. I believe it's on the 12th, but if you follow us on the meetup group, we'll post all the details there for that event. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brad Green, Engineering Director at Google.
All right. Okay, well, yes. Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. It is a special event because tonight we are finally announcing Angular 2.0 Final. So, yes. There we go. So we started on this almost 2 years ago. We got 4 days until the 2-year first check-in of Angular 2. We started with, just usher those balloons away. We started rationalizing the component model to make it really easy for you folks to build applications in Angular 2. We built new versions of Forms, Router, and a lot of the core APIs. And just recently, in RC5, we came out with ahead-of-time compilation, which allows you to deploy the smallest, fastest versions of Angular 2 applications. So this final moniker means we think it's possible for all of you now to build successful applications on Angular 2. So go out and do it. We're really excited to hear what you build with it. Now, if you've been following along, how many people are on the RCs right now? How many people have been using? Oh, a lot of you. Okay, so you know that we've had a lot of breaking changes recently. Yeah. Going forward, we want to make it a lot more stable for you. We want you to be able to rely on an environment that you don't really have to worry about in Angular 2. And so we're moving to doing breaking changes only every 6 months. I know you think it's funny. But really, next set of breaking changes is coming out in February, March, somewhere around there. And to make it really clear when the breaking changes are coming, we're moving to SEMVer, to semantic versioning, so you can know when they come. And so I know it sounds like a joke, but the next breaking changes are going to come in February, and it's going to be Angular 3. 3.0, Angular 2 3.0. Now, this is not a big stressful event. It's just some breaking changes will come up, and we're going to be building some tools to make that easier, to make those migrations from one breaking change to another easy for you folks. We are going to be continuing with our regular releases. We have tons of new non-breaking feature additions, bug fixes, and other improvements to the platform that's going to come out every couple weeks or so. We're going to be working on animations, a lot more we want to do there. We want to get web workers out of the experimental status so a lot more folks can use it. We're very close on a fully functional suite of material design components with Material Design 2. We've got improvements to mobile for supporting progressive mobile apps, for Universal, supporting more languages like Java and Go. And a lot of the folks on the team are just going to be working on making Angular 2 even smaller and even faster. So that's all of our announcements. We're going to take some Q&A local, and we're going to take some Q&A from Twitter. And then it's just a party. We've got food and drinks, and I'm glad you all could join us tonight. So, Stephen, you want to kick us off with a Twitter question? And then maybe if you want to join the mic in the middle there for live questions. You can, Naomi.
So I have a question. So if we could have breaking changes in 6 months, what if I'm not ready for those breaking changes and I don't want them?
Yeah, you do not have to upgrade. A lot of folks are still on Angular 1, and it works just fine. That's the way the web works. So yes, fine question. Stephen, you want to kick us off with a question?
All right, so we've got a line in the middle. If you guys want to line up, if you have any in-person questions. Otherwise, we'll go to some of the Twitter questions that we were receiving earlier. So the first question is from Mike, and the question is, how should the community refer to Angular 2? Angular 2, AngularJS, Angular? And Jules, if you want to take this one.
Yeah, so you should call it Angular. And then if you need to refer to the version, it can be 1, 2, or eventually 3,
Or 4, 5.
or 4, or 5, or 10.
Drop the JS, it's
3.2.1 if necessary.
Yeah. Angular.
You're all using Angular, and we're very excited about that. All right, the second question here. This is a bit more technical. Would you expect runtime compiler to be used during app development, or is the goal to always run ahead of time, and runtime is only for plunkers and code pens? So, Rob, do you want to go ahead and take this one?
I think we'd like to get it to a point where you use AOT all the time, should be the default. We're going to plug it into Webpack pretty soon here, so that should be kind of seamless in Webpack. And we'll continue to build plugins and sort of whatever tool you're using, you should be able to put an AOT plugin and make it nice and fast and easy.
All right. What's the best place for developers learning Angular 2 to ask questions and help from the community? So, Igor, do you want to take that one?
Asking questions Stack Overflow is an awesome way because the community can help and also we can upvote good answers. Additionally, on our documentation, we have lots of Q&A space for frequently asked questions. So if we see questions that are being repeated over and over, we add them to our documentation.
All right.
And Gitter, yeah. Gitter, lots of good folks helping there.
If any of you have questions, just go to the mic so we know.
What's the vision for the development experience with ahead of time compilation? So I think it's just a question about more like what is AOT going to look like in the future for developers? So Rob, since you answered the first one.
Smaller and faster is the short answer to that. I think that's like the whole cool thing about AOT, right? Is that you can keep your code the same, and we'll improve that performance out from under you as we generate it. So it's faster, smaller, faster.
Now that Angular has stabilized with the core team, will the core team dedicate more resources to the Angular CLI?
Yes, we have a lot of features in place. We're not stopping now. We're not just supporting Angular and that's it. We're going to have more stuff, more features for you, and we'll definitely dedicate more resources to it.
Did you announce your thing today? What you did today?
Well, the Webpack transition is finally complete, and now if you download the latest version of the Angular CLI, you get the Webpack version, which is awesome.
How many people here have used the Angular CLI with Webpack? Wow, a lot of people. So everyone who didn't raise your hand, tonight is the opportunity to go try out that piece. Which tools or repo should I use for new projects that include Twitter Bootstrap and tests of all kind, CLI, Webpack 2? What should I be using? Do you want to take this, Robert?
Do you want to ask the question again?
Which tools or repo should I use for new projects that includes Twitter, Bootstrap, and tests of all kind?
Okay, so obviously Angular CLI is really good, and it's easy to, now with Webpack, it's super easy to plug in if you want to plug in NG Bootstrap or NGT Bootstrap or any of those. I think Minko's Angular 2 seed project is an amazing bit of engineering. I think that's a really good one to check out. Any other good seeds to think about? I think those two, like our generated one, and Patrick's Angular 2 Webpack starter, I think those are kind of the big three that you should check out. That's also that one, which is in our docs. Angular Quick Start would be the other one. So Quick Start, the CLI, which generates your new one, Patrick's Webpack starter, and Minko's Angular 2 seed.
All right. Naomi, you ready?
Yes. Hi. So Angular CLI, do you guys have plans to make it more configurable? Like, oh, I want to throw in one more Webpack loader that you guys don't support. So is it like this big commitment, I'm on the CLI, whatever you choose for me, or like I am plus one other little thing? Does that make sense?
You're not alone. We hear a lot of those requests. There is an add-on system that is being thought out, like, written on doc right now, just, Hammock development. And we definitely want to support Webpack, but configuring the build system and configuring Webpack itself, we just want to do like it in a deliberate approach. We don't want to just throw it out there and see what happens. We want to actually think it out before we make it. But an add-on system is coming. I'm not going to commit on any date for that.
I was going to ask.
And Brad agrees, so.
What's the one thing that you want, just out of curiosity?
Not to be locked in. We constantly tweak our Webpack build. We're using Angular 2 in production. It's pretty awesome, but we're always tweaking. And it really sucks if it's like, it could be simple. I'm sure you use, like, honestly, I looked at the setup. It's really good. We copied it. But one day we're like, oh, crap, we want the dedo plugin. If you're not using it and we decide we want it, it sucks to be like all or nothing. Or
So
other cases, we've made other small configuration tweaks, and there's so much configuration between all the loaders and plugins. Like, it's nice to be able to tweak.
yeah, two things about what you just said. The first thing is the add-on system, which will definitely allow you to touch the config and control it and have control over it. And the second thing is also I would like to have like an eject button. At some point, you're using the CLI, you don't want to use the CLI, or you want to actually like get out of there a little bit, or use it not for the build, or you have certain cases that we didn't think about. You just want to get out of there. We will generate files for you that will allow you to use like Webpack directly from the command line or something like that. So that's something that we're thinking about too. That could also help you.
That's pretty cool. Thank you.
So you're going with semantic versioning, which is fantastic. But you have several pieces in the project. How will you support compatibility of different pieces with different versions?
That's a fair question. Igor or Victor?
That's what Semver is all about, right? So Semver says when breaking changes happen, and then through peer dependencies, we control which pieces are compatible with which versions. So using semantic versioning and peer dependencies, you control which pieces are compatible.
Okay.
And I think in general you'll see like the core libraries, so like core common platforms staying mostly in sync, right? And then some of the kind of wider stuff, so HTTP, Angular Fire, these kind of things, right, will probably move at a slightly faster pace. And that Semver lets these things evolve faster without the core having to move too quickly.
Okay, because the easy way is just update the major versions at the same time, but if animate stays at 2 while core moves to 3, that wasn't a question. Okay, if you maintain the dependencies, that's perfect.
I just want to clarify the comment that Brad made about the breaking changes coming in February. We don't plan to make the changes like what you saw between Angular 1 and Angular 2. The scale of the changes is similar to like going from Angular 1.4 to Angular 1.5, where the changes are very well thought, documented. And we're actually trying to go even further where we're going to give you more time in one major version with deprecated APIs before we actually remove the APIs. So the breaking changes are going to be much more smoothly rolled out, and we're going to publish a blog post about all the details of how this is going to work probably next week or so. Next week, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I'll take another. You want to go? Go for it.
All right, hi. This is a question on Angular CLI. Would you guys be able to comment on routes? I was not able to follow the last couple of days. I don't know what happened, but routes was broken lately.
Yes. So routing at Angular got quite a bit of a history that I'm not gonna just lay out there, but we were supporting the old router at some point, and when the router went and created the new router, the new router that we have today, we discovered that like the way we were generating routes was not working at all, and so we just decided to kill it because it's better to have something. It's better to tell you that there's not something because we can't do it, than to have something that doesn't work. Route is really complicated, actually. Generating routing from a set of command line arguments, it's really complicated because there's a lot of use cases. Do you want your route to be treated like with a higher priority than another route? Does it have children, parents, and all that? So we're still like thinking about that one. Also, the other thing that came in the middle was we added some AST capable tooling to the CLI that actually parsed the TypeScript and knows where to put stuff, and that really helped. But by the time that was developed and all that, now we can actually take into routing and think about how we want to approach it from the interface itself, from the command line, and do it. But yeah, what we were doing before doesn't work in the new world, so we had to kill it.
And I guess it should be said that one of the things about routing in the CLI, right, is so we've switched over to Webpack, and I think that one of the things that we're doing quite a lot of right now is talking to the team who makes Webpack, the team who maintain the plugins, all that entire ecosystem, and making sure that all of these things work nicely in sync, right? So it's kind of the trick with CLI, right? Is that there are 57 different things going on, and so it can be tricky to quickly integrate them sometimes. But we definitely want to make sure that we're doing it properly and reliably, and I think we'll see much more of that going forward.
And I just want to point out that generating routes now is easier than it was at the time. So changing the code itself is actually not that hard, and the CLI, when it builds, it actually understands like lazy routing modules and all that kind of stuff. So we understand routes, we just don't have the ng generate route anymore. But generating routes is much easier than it was when we had ng generate route.
The next question's a little bit poetic. To module ID or to not, or to module ID or not to module ID? That is the question. If you want it.
Module ID. So module ID, I think, is strangely like one of the most difficult problems we've had to try and solve. Like, which is crazy, but it's very, very complicated. We have a really rad solution for Webpack. I think that works really well. So we'd like that your build tooling handles it for you. We had a brainwave this morning about how to do it for system in a slightly smarter way. So it's not going away. You can continue to use it. You don't need it in Webpack. You really only need it in System.js. And I think we'll probably come up with a slightly better solution for that. But again, that would be under the deprecation policy. It's not going to go anytime soon. So it would be totally fine to use it in the interim.
Hello, may I add? So we have a big system building on Angular 1. So my question is, how long will Angular 1 be supported? And is there any plan to have minor releases in the future?
Yeah, I'll take this. So the thing that we've said again and again is that we're going to support Angular 1 until the majority of folks are using Angular 2. And where we're at right now, it's about 1.3 million folks using Angular 1 and about 480,000 using Angular 2. So we're not there yet. You've got a while. And our intention is that, yes, we will continue to do some minor releases for Angular 1, mostly adding APIs like we did with Angular 1.5 that help match it with Angular 2 to make the transition easier. But it's not like we're going to delete Angular 1 code from the web. You can continue using it forever. And it's very well tested and well proven. So you should feel comfortable using it for as long as you need to.
Can me and my colleagues start using 2 and not worry about relearning what we learned from previous RCs? Mishka, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Use 2. It's stable.
All right. This is a very relevant question. What's Mishka like in real life?
He's not,
I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer that question.
Not as scary as you think. He's really nice, actually.
All right, real questions, please.
Yeah, about half the questions on Twitter were, when is Final coming out? So we already took care of most of the questions. How close are we to open sourcing the tool that auto-upgrades Angular 2 projects across Angular 2 versions? So, Alex.
Yeah. So we're doing it incrementally, and we've made some progress. I had an awesome intern working with me this summer, and we contributed some features to TS-lint to get us started. So we can now use the type checker, TypeScript language type checker, and also produce fixes from TS-lint. So we've started to use this to be able to make little baby changes in TypeScript code. The next step, I've started working with Minko to be able to use our Angular language services so that we can also make changes in template code. And again, that's type aware, so they can make changes across both template and TypeScript code. And so my hope is that by the time we have Angular 3 and we have some breaking changes to give you, we'll be able to mature those refactorings so that they're complex enough to handle whatever stuff comes up. We'll see how complicated those changes end up being.
Angular 2 is amazing. How can you improve it?
You guys can tell us. We're looking for feedback, so please tell us how we can improve it.
And a very closely related question is there anything else you want to add to Angular 2?
Can we make more breaking changes?
I mean, I listed a couple of them. Like, we certainly, like, animations could use some more features. We're again gonna work on material and mobile and universal, all kinds of good stuff.
And I think the other thing, like, now that we're stable at 2.0, I think we're most excited about to see what everybody else is going to build on top of it, right? Like all of the UI routers and all of the like amazing libraries I had in one, right? To get people started building these again, I think is what we're really most excited about seeing.
I'll also add to that, we're not done making it faster.
True. Or smaller.
The way I think about it is that Angular 2 was really about building kind of the bones of the project, and what we're going to do going forward is we have to fill in a lot of details to make it easier to do many of the everyday actions that you do. So there are lots and lots of small things that are going to be added, lots of sugar, etc., to make it just easier, smoother, cover more cases. But it's kind of hard to. It's not like a big vision thing that we had originally for Angular 2, because that has also been achieved. Now it's going to be lots and lots of iterations to just add lots of things for you guys just to enjoy it more.
Do you want to go ahead?
Sure. So I wanted to say the upgrade adapter that you guys added is great for upgrading our Angular 1 apps to Angular 2. One place I've had a struggle with though is old school post-back web applications, like reusing those pages, just wrapping it as an Angular app doesn't seem to work. The strategy I've kind of used now is just have lots of little Angular apps embedded throughout my old school application. Is that the best way to approach this problem, or is there a better way to do it?
Yeah, I think for the moment that's a perfectly reasonable solution. We talked to a lot of people who are doing this sort of multi-component bootstrap thing to have lots of little root apps, and I think that's a totally legitimate way of doing things. We have that functionality baked in for that reason, I think.
Cool. And over there.
Hey, so when can we npm install it?
In about 15 minutes.
The sooner we let him off the stage, the sooner you can npm install it.
We've got a few more breaking changes to get
in. How complete is the documentation site?
The documentation site is never done. We just pushed a design refresh to the site. We're working on it. Our author team has been hard at work doing guides. We just launched a couple new guides. There's one ahead of time compile. There's an internationalization one coming. The router one has just been significantly updated. I see Deborah over here. She's one of our authors. She's smiling at me. We're so thankful for all of the authors. There's a ton of work that is going to be ongoing through the rest of the year and onwards to address both large topics and small ones. Like I have a really small use case, but I want to understand it. We'll post cookbooks about this. I'm rambling. I'm really excited about the doc site. We've got a lot more work to do, and Ward Bell, who's standing back there in his hat, has been leading the effort, and more to come.
The next question is, do you see streams largely replacing the concept of stateful services and models in Angular 2? That is, subscribing, superseding, binding.
So this is not like team approved or whatever, right? This is very much like pie in the sky thinking, but yeah, I think that one of the things that I'd really like to do over the next X amount of months, right, is to really, really make the reactive story, the stream story, amazing. I think that I think RX kind of came in late into the picture into what we could do, and I think there's a huge amount of really, really amazing stuff we'll be able to do on top of that. So that will certainly be stuff we'll look more and more into.
Okay. What resources exist today for decreasing app size in Angular 2?
Is that me again? Yeah. So I think that it's sort of a multi-stage thing, right? So the biggest thing about that has been having ES6 modules as part of the Angular setup, right? So that's your kind of first thing. Obviously, our AOT compiler makes a big difference to not just the speed, but also not just the size, but also the speed. And then obviously Webpack and Rollup and System.js Builder and all these other tools. Like I spend 90% of my life just messing with build tools. That's all I do pretty much. So we're working really hard to make sure that everything we build works, and we're feeding back to these teams to say, we're finding patterns that aren't quite shakeable. We're finding ways to optimize all these different things, and I think that over the next sort of year, you'll see that get even better and better and better. And I guess you should check out Tor Helgevold's got a really good blog post on AOT. Miko's got a really good one as well. And that's a really good place to get a picture of like, what does it take to get a really small and fast Angular app? And it's way simpler than you might think. So.
All right. We are about out of time, so unless there's any other audience questions here, I think we can let you guys all go outside and partake in the food and drink.
And please ask us questions while drinking and eating and socializing. We are friendly. We do not bite.
That's what we're here for. Thanks for coming, everyone.